So now we have this collective pandemic all over the globe, which is obviously going to ramp up this process in everybody in one way or another. And depending on your level of consciousness, your level of commitment, your level of values, all of that, that's going to depend on how you experience that. Of course, you are going to feel, we're all going to feel the way the media, all the ramifications of what this means, that there's a so-called, this virus is also like the virus of our collective distorted mind, our collective dark side of consciousness. Yeah, it's like a virus. And so when it's not on the table as being life-threatening to threaten and disrupt all our supposed fixed, the way things run, all disruption, you know, when we don't have that and everything's just going along like da-da-da, we don't, the virus of the dark side of consciousness, we don't take it so life-threatening as we do when it's reflected everywhere. So there's going to be cooking going on in everybody, obviously depending on the level of consciousness, values, all of that, that's going to determine experience. So for each and every one of us who are consciously walking the way of finding no greater meaning than what we call spiritual, the spiritual homecoming, for those of us who have that at the top value of life, for those of us who are given to a life that is all for that, you know, as the highest value. This is like, I mean, for everybody, it's an opportunity. There's opportunity within this moment. Because of the crunch, there's great opportunity. I know that all through the life of this one. Do you know that? Yeah. In your life, the moments of the crunch, where did it take you to? So yeah, in the life of this one, and I'm sure for yourself, when you had really strong, life-threatening, challenging, heartbreaking moments of being squeezed, those are the moments that you found value in something beyond this human existence more and more, right? You look for that because it's painful. So at the moment, with all this collective thing, and it's not about to be finished by next week, we know that. We don't know anything about where it can go, what can be the effect. We don't know anything, and that can trigger the collective nervous system into all kinds of so that's easy to get pulled in to a level of consciousness that is uncomfortable, right? Within this opportunity is the opportunity that is on your table anyway in this lifetime, and that is self-mastery. You cannot afford to be run by the mind. You have to be radical about what you allow in your consciousness, in the sense that when you see that there's a certain stress, like the track that leads to a certain kind of suffering, right? Because what's in our consciousness, which has come through generations, there is a certain, for the identified separate self, there is a certain attachment to that self, which is the attachment to suffering. Because in the identification with a separate self is suffering. We can say in egoic identification is suffering, right? This is no secret, so I just put it simple. So even when we know that, still we can get lazy and allow the stories of a separate self to take hold and build on it. And as soon as you start feeling that stress and that fear and panic coming in your body, you know, it's really like your body is so intelligent. It's such a walking, talking mechanism of pure intelligence. It's speaking and it's pointing. It is the guru itself. Right in the heart of that is the Sat Guru. The Sat Guru, the truth guru in your heart that knows the way. It is pure wisdom. It is the channel straight from source, straight from the divine, coming through the bridge of your heart. So for you to actually be available for guidance, to really listen and go there, you have to be willing to relinquish. I like this phrase, you know, relinquish the attachment to suffering. It means that the moment that you see that the mind is going on a track that is leading down that road, it's like more than ever in this moment in time collectively. And it's not just the virus. There'll be the next thing. It was Australia's fire just recently. Now that's kind of gone into the background. Now it's the virus. It won't be the end. The virus won't be the end. It's a time of self-mastery in this lifetime. You better get used to it, and you better get radical. Yeah, we see that it's the time of the old style of master-disciple, going to sit in front of a guru and hand it all over. The guru that you hand it all over to is the Sat Guru, which resides in your own heart and is reflected out there in one who stands as that, right? There's no separation. So to be radically true to what you know to be true, self-mastery means that when you see through your own psychological process that, you know, you might be just talking to someone on the phone or seeing something in the media, or like whatever can trigger it. You know, people can come in your space who start coughing, whatever, right? So the moment that the thing is getting into your system, not knowing what to do, the trembling, you can feel, you have to take the responsibility to cut any movement to drive the story and to turn back towards divine communion. This will require that you take care of the body. The body is such a fragile transmitter, and taking care of the body means that, of course, you've got to help the nervous system to come into a space where it feels safe, like just in the bubble of your own space, not safe from the virus, but from the stress, from the activation. So, of course, there are many different ways that you can help the body in this way, lots of tools that you can use, but it takes your dedication. It's not the tools. You know, we can have bags and bags of tools, but it needs your dedication. It needs you to make really a commitment within yourself that you're just not going there. You're just not going there. And you see how dangerous it is for you to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. Once you're 5 steps, you're in the winds, in the turbulence of the collective fear, and then you're adding to it. So turning back towards where peace always is, where true rest is, where intelligence is, where the wisdom of guidance is, must be the first and top priority. That means give up where you are attached. Don't be a victim. Don't find yourself in the victim stance in any way. If you can't, you know, you have to give up this and you have to give up that, and you can't have this and you can't have that. Or the victim life is doing something to you. Why is it so? All of that. It plays in such subtle ways, and cutting the roots of that, cutting the roots of the attachment to suffering, is cutting the root of identification with me. As a separate self. You cut the root, you turn back, you reconnect. Not as an escape, not as an escape. As wisdom. Of course, on the human level, you've got to take all the precautions, but calmly, from a place of peace, from a place of guidance, from a place of really feeling into, okay, what is the right thing that I need to do here? What is the true thing? Do I do this thing? Do I don't do it? Do I go to this place? Do I don't? Do I, you know, like, obviously the recommendations to strengthen your nervous system, immune system, similar, is on the top of the list. You need a strong immune system, but not out of fear, not like, oh, I can't, no. You know, more out of love, more out of wisdom, out of intelligence. So you're reconnecting to the plants, you know, because it's the plants that have the wisdom. It's the plants that hold the wisdom and are the real way to strengthen the immune system and the nervous system. Just reconnecting with the plants, where the intelligence, where the source is. That's how it's showing up on the human level. You get your guidance in the quietest, sweetest, peaceful, intimacy, right inside. You know what's right, you know. And it can easily happen that you come in contact with people who are, how strong are you in those moments to stay connected in where you know? This has to do with the way you live your daily life. How you live your daily life is going to really, how you've been living your daily life up until now will be what shows you the value of spiritual practice. Because it's in these moments where you're tested. How deep are your roots? We can walk around speaking nice spiritual concepts and beliefs, but it's in moments where we are challenged and put to the test that there is the great opportunity to really live into it and come to know the value of spiritual practice. Why, on a daily basis, do you incorporate certain habits into your life on every level, if not for moments like this, where you are tested? And like I said, this virus, this is the virus now. There's the next and the next and the next. You have to integrate, you have to become more spacious, allow all of those energies in awareness, just in awareness, while you are knowing deeper reality. So you're here to meet it. You're right here to meet it as it is. What can be here to meet it? What can be here to meet all of it? Is your deeper knowing, that in you which is aware. And free. So this is a moment where we are called to, escaping would be just going out the door to the divine and in a denial that all this is happening. No, life has given here, have this one. No, we can't pretend it's not happening, because on a basic level, to get your food, to get this, to get that, to go anywhere, you've got to integrate it. And you have to choose carefully. So it's coming right into your human. And the collective field of global pandemic coming through collective consciousness will have some kind of, if you have to leave the house, right? So integrating all of that. You need a strength of being deeply rooted in yourself, your real self. Who knows? We don't know. We don't know where this is going to go. We don't know how, we don't know. We just don't know. And that's a surrender. That in itself is like surrender of the ego. We just don't know. Could it go on all year? We don't know. Could it take away every single plan you have for this year? We just don't know. So in that, there's surrender and surrender and surrender and surrender. So there's the opportunity on the egoic level to give up, and get radical about what you allow, and what your commitment is. What are you committed to in this life? What is the highest value of this life? I have found that in extreme moments of life challenge, that it has kept me right on the edge of the tightrope, you know, walking the edge of the tightrope, where if you look away, you're going to fall, right? So you have to stay in what is true. So if in your mind activity, it gets into like, why is this happening to us? Why is this happening to me? Why can't it change? Why can't it be different? All of that, you just got to give all that up. And how beautiful that you get the chance to give it all up. How beautiful that you get the chance to turn around and prioritize only taking into your body the things that enhance your immune system. How beautiful that life provides what it takes. So if you don't have a daily practice, I suggest that you prioritize. Because you need to stay rooted. You need to get grounded. You need to get deep. And you need to learn how to walk from depth. Into your human life. Don't waste energy. Wasting energy is loss on the immune system. Don't waste energy by engaging in things that don't go there. Don't go in drama of any kind. Just don't go. Finish. Cut. Cut it. Self-mastery. In the same way that a guru, in the times of guru disciple, in the same way that the guru would have cut it, you need to. The Satguru. You need to cut it. You need to cut attachment to suffering. Cut the drama. Stop it. So you could have a little look within yourself, not because I'm saying so, not because I'm telling you that's what you need to do. I can only tell you that's what you need to do because that's the commitment here. And I have lots of opportunity to put that in practice in the living of my life. I have so much opportunity for that. How about you? Do you have opportunity for that? To cut any feeding of the drama, to cut any feeding of going in the story that leads to suffering and struggle. So you need to have a little talk with yourself in the recesses of your heart to get really close to yourself in your own heart. Not because I'm saying so, but because this is your time to actually go and find out in your own heart what is true and what are you true to. And what kind of agreement can you make with yourself in those moments? So if you get like a trigger, which triggers are going off everywhere, collectively and on. You know, it's going to be financial loss. It's going to be, economic loss. Who knows? Will there be a food shortage? Who knows? Whatever, right? There will be lots of triggers, as there already are. So what's the commitment inside yourself? It can be sometimes so like the whole system is shaking. I experience that, yeah. I experience if there's an activation that can happen for me in my living situation at the moment easily, right? So when that activation, then I really, within a confined space, need to practice what I preach, right? Self-mastery. And we are always being taken deeper in that. I walk that edge. I walk on that tightrope, on that edge. You need to go to your edge. Because when you go to your edge, that's where you're made new. You're remade into, you're evolving, you're remade into greater and greater version of divine expression in your humanness. By going to your edge and getting really true and real and radical and honest. It's sweet. It's sweet because you come more and more and more to value such a sweet bliss that is anyway always in the deepest recesses of your heart, regardless of the life situation. You can go through the doorway of freedom. This is your training ground. So as beings who are saying that we are walking the way of a spiritual life, you're put to the test. You have to stand true in that, and you have to be an example of the depth of where you come from. Through the light of awareness, you are bringing light to the human collective. Bring your light. Your light is being called. I'm not saying it should be easy. No one said that. It can be extreme. Your light is being called. your light is needed. What an incredible moment in history we are meeting in, just to be the makers of the new, to be the ones who are the making of the new frequency. Walking in human bodies by connecting with the light of our knowing, where through that doorway we connect to the bliss and the joy. The frequency of this body changes. You can know that immediately. If somebody walks in the room and they're really heavy, you feel it immediately. If someone walks through the door and they are full of light, you feel it immediately, right? Because it's the frequency. And this is your time to change like this body is like chemistry, to change the frequency of this body by connecting to the light of knowing, entering the doorway of the heavenly realm.